Hey, my name is Scott Ford. I'm the Director of Marketing for Innisfree Hotels, and we're out here at From the Ground Up Community Garden today talking about microgreens. This is a tray of microgreen radishes. These have been growing for about 8 or 9 days. So as you can see, from planting to harvesting, just a little over a week. And I've just been doing this in my spare time at home for about the last 2.5 years, and just kind of found a great little home gardening hobby that you can do regardless of the weather or temperature outside. You just need a little bit of space, a little grow light, some medium and some water, and you got microgreens. It's really instant gratification. You can go from planting raw seeds to eating your microgreens in as little as 7 days. So supplies, this is not super supply intense. We plant in Coco Coir. And if you guys, this is I think a 15-pound block. This is really, really compressed. And so I literally take this, unwrap it, put it in this bin, pour about a gallon of filtered water, and then let it sit. And an hour later, it has expanded, and you just reach in and break it up with your hands, and it turns into a fine core. It's the fuzzy stuff from the outside of a coconut shell, and they cut it off, and it has the substance and a little bit of nutrients to help the plants grow. But the thing to remember about microgreens, everything a plant needs to grow is in the seed. Just like a bird's egg, it has all the nutrition it needs to get its life started and get its root system into the ground to get more nutrients after that. So that's also an advantage of eating microgreens. All of the nutrition, all the vitamins that come in a plant in microgreens are all concentrated in a 3-inch plant. Once that plant gets to be 3 feet tall, all the nutrients have to spread out throughout that entire plant. So as you eat leaves or stems off of a plant, you're getting a lower concentration of the nutrients than you would get if you ate it just as the microgreen, when all those nutrients are still there. The seeds come in all shapes and sizes. When I'm trying new microgreens, I get a smaller package like this, and these typically between $8 and maybe $15 for a small package like this, depending on the type of seed. And then if I like it, I'll go to a 1-pound bag, about $20. And then you can go up in size and keep going. For some of the staples, my radishes and peas, I just buy them in 5-pound bulk bags. And pretty inexpensive. Most of the seeds between probably $11 and $20 a pound. Some of the high grade gourmet microgreens that have bright colors, sometimes those get a little bit more expensive. But for the most part, for the amount of seeds you use, it's very, very inexpensive. And if you guys want to come over, we'll plant one, and I'll show you exactly the process. So I just use a standard little kitchen scale. Radishes, I typically use about 1 ounce of seeds. That's about 1 ounce. It's a little over. I don't get too concerned, but I write everything down. Every time I plant something, I write down the weight, the amount of seeds. So when I get to the harvest point, if it's too thick, then I'll make a little note, hey, let me reduce that by, you know, 1/10 or 2/10 of an ounce. Or if it's too sparse, I'll add 1/10 or 2/10 of an ounce. And over time, I've kind of established exactly what I need for each different microgreen. And each one is dramatically different. Some of them I might use as little as 1/4 of an ounce. And for my pea tendrils, I use 5 ounces in a planting. So it varies pretty dramatically based on the size of the seed. And then this Coco Coir, once I've deconstituted it, you can see it's just very light and fluffy. And some of the pieces, when it gets wet, it's like this. And you just crumble it with your hands and turn it into this light, fluffy consistency that you want for your planting. I'll do a really good antibacterial soap washing of my hands. When you have your hands in this medium, any little bit of oil, because there's nothing really to dilute those oils, they can cause mold and mildew once your plants start coming. Make sure you don't have any grease or anything on your hands, and that your planting medium is very clean and sterile. All the water that I use is either purified or filtered water. So tap water also has a lot of minerals in it that can cause impurities and mold and stuff when you're doing it. So you want to keep everything as clean as possible. And then I take typically 3 double handfuls. And I just kind of set it up like this. And then I want to even it out, so I just kind of fan it like this and try to get the soil as even as possible. And then once I get it to where it looks, you know, pretty close. At my house, I have a Yingling 12 pack that I personally use, but in this case, since I didn't bring the 12 pack with me, you just want to get a little compression in here. Because the microgreens are so small, we want to even out the planting surface so that when we go to harvest them, everything will be pretty consistent. And then I dampen the surface with a spray bottle. The seeds, we're trying to imitate an underground version of these seeds. And in the springtime, when the heavy rains come, the seeds are under there, they're compressed a little bit, and that's when they know that it's time to start sprouting. So by wetting the bottom, we also temper the medium so that when I do plant and put water over the top, the medium doesn't soak up all the moisture. When the bottom's already moist, it leaves that moisture can sit up there and absorb into the seeds. So just get it damp to the touch, and you'll be able to see it'll visibly change color and get a little darker when you put water on it. And then I just hand plant. Some people I've seen get a little a shaker from herbs or spices that you would use in your cabinet when you're done with your garlic salt or onion salt or whatever. They'll clean that container out and use the shaker and put the seeds. I just do it with my hands. And I just go back and forth and kind of fan things out and try to keep it even. If I see a bunch of them clumping up in one place, I'll just grab them with my fingers and kind of spread it out a little bit more. This is radishes. This is a rose stem radish. What's the guy? Go back over, and very liberal with the water on this one. You want to get them soaked pretty well. A lot of the seeds will change colors as you spray them with the water. Basil seeds are fun. They go from black to a grayish blue almost. The trays that I'm using is actually a double tray. I have 2 different kinds. You can see this one has a solid bottom and this one has slits or holes in the bottom. And so I put these together like this. After the seeds germinate, when I go to water, I just have a gallon jug of filtered water, and I just walk up and just separate them and pour about a cup of water in every couple of days. And so then that water will seep up through the bottom, and that again helps to mildew or anything, because these are kind of fragile little tiny baby plants, and we're growing them like a forest, so we want them to have all the best chances to survive as possible. And then once we get the seeds soaked in, we take another tray and we'll put this tray on top of the seeds. Sometimes I'll stack 2 or 3 seeded trays. So this would be another tray with another planting and seeded. I'll stack those about 3 high, and then we need to put weight on this. So again, it imitates the seed being under the ground and under that compression pressure. So I have literally 12 packs of soda, like Diet Coke, and I'll just take 2 of those and set right on top of here. In this case, you can take this 5-pound bag of seeds and this box of other seeds, and I literally, it might look like that, and I have the spare bedroom in my house. The closet, I just have a little wire shelf, and I go in and I stack these up, and then everything's dated, so I know this is radish. I used 1 ounce and I planted it on 5-3. Now I know that radishes take about 3 days to germinate, so I'm gonna leave them covered and weighted for about 3 days, and when I pull that off, I'll have little tiny sproutlings about 1/4 of an inch tall. I'll give them a quick little mist on top, and that's the last time they'll ever get watered on top. And then from then on, I put them under the grow lights, and they stay under the grow lights 10 or 12 hours a day. Turn them on when I get up in the morning, it's between 6 and 7. And then about 6 or 7 in the evening, I'll turn them off and check the water. And that's really it. 3 days to germinate, and then about another 4 or 5 days to harvest for the radishes.
And that's 3 days in the dark.
3 days in the dark, under pressure. You just don't touch them, leave them alone. Don't be tempted to go in and peek at them. Just leave them where they are. lot of times if I plant seeds on top of seeds, the bottom of the container that's on top will have some seeds stuck to the bottom. I pick it up and just kind of do a sweep with a little paper towel that drops into the seeds that stuck to the tray into the one on the bottom where they belong. And then, you're gonna lose a few seeds, but you buy them by the millions. So literally cost on everything. For this whole tray of this radish, these trays, I get them each in a pack of 10, and they're about $30. So if I get a set of 10, hold and not hold, about $60. Seeds, like I said, a pack, I think this is about $17 for this pack. Your water's cheap. Coco Coir, this is $20 for this, and I can get about 15 trays out of one block. So you're literally, for a tray like this of radish, this is cilantro, this is arugula, these all like hard cost, probably like $2.50. It's super inexpensive, and you can just keep cycling. Plant them 1 week, and as soon as you harvest, plant your next one. And as you can see, this is how we use them. This is just where we've clipped. And I'll even show you last night, we did Beyond Burgers. We plant-based most of the time, but you can see, instead of lettuce, we just pass the film around. You can see what we did to the top of our burgers. And number one, it looks super cool. And it tastes amazing. The flavor concentration you guys are about to find out is super cool. But yeah, let's eat. Let's try some. But that's really it. Certain things. Cilantro takes a longer time to germinate. It's about a 6 or 7 day germination period, and then it takes about another 8 days to really come to full harvest. So this one was planted on the 16th. It was raw planted, so we're basically 2.5 weeks, and the cilantro is fully ready to go. This can be harvested and used anytime.
Do you reuse the trays?
Yes, so the trays, the Coco Coir comes out. It can be used for compost because you have brown and green, like mixed actually together, kind of in this. My problem with when I try to use the medium for compost is I keep getting radishes and stuff sprouting out of all my compost. Then I'm like, oh, it's a plant. I don't want to put more compost on it. I want to pick it and eat it. So it's this whole mental game that I play with myself. But it can be used for compost. Really good rinse and air dry on the trays, and make sure they don't have any remaining residual material in them, or that could cause future mold growth and stuff. But I can usually get 10 or 12 uses out of a set of trays, and they just start kind of breaking down. Cost, commercially, if I were going to sell this tray at a farmer's market downtown, I would sell this tray for probably between $25 and $45. And if it was like the red amaranth or the nasturtiums or something, probably closer to $80 or $100. This is easy, a 10-to-1 markup all day long. Costs you $2.50 or $3. You can sell it for $25 or $30, like they're going out of style. If I walked up to any restaurant on Palafox and walked in and said, "Hey guys, I'll sell this to you for $25," they would fall over themselves writing me a check for it. If you take the basil, looks very similar. This is arugula, but let's just say a caprese salad. Simple tomato, big basil leaves, and some mozzarella. In the restaurant, sell that for $7.99 to $9.99 typically. Take 10 cents worth of basil microgreens and sprinkle them over the top, and that $9.99 dish just went to a $13.99 dish. And nobody's gonna blink twice, because as soon as you sprinkle that little 15 cents worth of microgreens over the top, all of a sudden, now it's a gourmet salad. And it's just amazing, the perception, and then when they taste it, boom. It's pretty incredible how much perceived value there is in something that's really actually very simple and inexpensive to do.
Is there like a huge difference in taste
from
regular basil to...
You're about to find out. Yeah, the cilantro, if some people, if you're one of those people that thinks cilantro tastes like soap, it just really tastes like soap. And if you just love cilantro, like on tacos or whatever, if you imagine a regular a street taco with just onions and cilantro on it, if you put cilantro microgreens on top, it's a whole different taco. And again,
you need less.
Oh, you need less, and just we eat with our eyes. That visual appearance makes it look better, and you can biodiversity value as well.
And also, Scott, isn't the nutrients the same amount like that you get in the microgreens, right? Like
Actually, nutrients are higher in the microgreens, about 4 times as high. In some, they say up to 40% more, or 400% more, pardon me, 4 times, just because it's all compressed in that smaller area. So you'll see, you guys want to come up and try some. I have radishes, arugula, and cilantro. The radishes that I have are specifically a spicy mix, so they're going to be very pungent and strong. But for things that are strong flavored like burgers or something, you need something that kind of stands up and the flavor will come through. So this is the grow room. Got a bunch of cool stuff going on right now. That's some amaranth, arugula, some spicy radishes, some cilantro, basil, red beet. And I got cilantro and radish up there, some more radishes, peas, arugula, peas. These are cool. This is a tricolor Swiss chard. So this will be really awesome. These colors are super fun. And then more peas, pea tendrils. There we go. And the planting table. Be ready pretty soon.